Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So continuing to work on the first peacock's head feathers, and maybe we'll get a bit into his head today. We'll see. But yeah, it's nice to see something besides a background emerging here. Lots of blues, my favorite color. Yeah, so having a bit of a heat wave here. But I have managed to keep from turning the air conditioner on so far. Yeah, it's been nice and cool at night, so opening the windows at night has been enough. Gives us enough of a buffer during the day that by the time we reach the hottest part of the day, it's about the normal temperature we like to keep it inside. So yeah, because we sort of go below that at night with it being really cold, and then yeah, it means I end up having to wear a sweater in the morning, but it's all good. Saves on the energy cost. Yeah, I just feel bad this heat flare up has made those wildfires that they're fighting in BC flare up again, so crossing our fingers for some more rain soon to tamp those down, get them under control hopefully. Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it was funny, I didn't even plan to finish the last project, which was the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, right around the release time of the new game. It just sort of worked out that way. And yeah, so we've been happily playing that. Yeah, we always say, you know, you gotta usually wait quite a while in between games, but it's worth the wait. Okay. Okay, I think I can get a couple more stitches out of this, so oh, but I've got to park it over further. There we go. Well, I supposed I could have parked it in the one next to it, but oh well. Okay. So yeah, a fair bit of working sort of from the left outwards rather than from the top down. That's just, yeah. I just follow the colors, and whatever makes sense to me at the time, that's what I do. Yeah, so I did finally cave and buy that one Heaven and Earth Designs that I've been eyeing but didn't own yet. The Garden Gate by Donna Gelsinger. I'm hoping I said that correctly. Yeah, I've been looking at that since it came out, but I hadn't bought it yet, so I finally did. And yeah, that one looks like it's pretty brutally full of confetti, which makes sense. It's a busier pattern. There's basically no background on it. Yeah, because it's a garden gate covered in flowers, and then you've got like watering can and, you know, other gardening tools, and then some birds. And so yeah, it's a very, very busy one. So yeah, I think that is one I'm going to need to alternate with a project that has a lot more blocks of color to keep me from getting burned out, because yeah, that looks like it was even more confetti heavy than the Soulful Mediterranean Tranquility, the fountain one that I did, because that had been the most confetti heavy I'd done up till that point. So, but I have a lot of other projects ahead of that one, so we'll see. Yeah, because I even have a couple of Thomas Kincaid ones, but they still have like a fair amount of sky in them, which is bigger blocks of colors. So there is, of course, quite a lot of confetti in the more detailed parts, but yeah, it's not entirely confetti. So yeah, when I bought this pattern, before I got a chance to actually look at the pattern, I thought it was going to be a lot more confetti heavy than it is. There is obviously some parts, but yeah, there's a lot of like walls in the background that are quite a lot of big blocks, and like on the bodies of the peacocks is quite big blocks. The tail feathers, of course, there's more detail confetti work there, but yeah, like I said, not as much as I thought there would be. Not that I mind. It can be a slog to work through, but the results are always worth it, so. Even if I curse it sometimes while I'm working it, my son will laugh at me when I'm saying, "Ah, ruddy confetti again." Ooh. Okay. There we are. So yeah, kind of a mini diagonal here, and then I'll probably do another stripe across before I fill in some of this stuff lower down. Just sort of depends. Yeah, as I said, this section is a bit busier. But that keeps it interesting. Keeps the brain engaged. So I finally went to the salon and had my hair cut professionally for like the first time in like 3 years. Because yeah, well, I started cutting my own hair when we were in lockdown in 2020, and then I just kind of got used to doing it. But yeah, I took a kiddo to the salon for a cut, so I figured while I was there, I might as well get my own done too. So I had it cut to my chin, nice and short. Yeah, and she kind of thinned it out a bit because I have pretty thick hair, and then it's nice and light for summer. We've got a knot back here. Let's see if we can, oh my gosh. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, perfect. Let's highlight what I'm doing here so you can follow along a little more easily if you want to. Yeah, I always say when I get to the point where I'm always pulling my hair back, it's time to get it cut again. Okay, we'll start another thread here. Let's see. I got lots of light blues here, so I got to kind of spread them out in my working tray so I don't mix myself up. So yeah, they're really close. But that's what gives it the nice subtle shading and detail. Yeah, I find there's plenty of shading and colors even in these regular colors ones, so I haven't bothered to do a max color. I think that's just way more confetti than I want to deal with. I think I might have not gone quite down in the right spot there. Yeah, because that loop didn't want to pull to the back properly, so let's try that again. Yeah, it should pop right into the hole in the fabric into the back, but if you don't get it just right, then it won't do that. You can end up with a little bit of a funny looking knot on, not really a knot, but like a bump on the front. There we go. Now it actually went to the back properly. Oh, and am I stitching in the wrong place? Oh, would you look at that? Yes, I am. I was stitching here when I should be up here. Oh, I tell ya. Can I undo it or not? Yeah, sometimes that's one of the drawbacks of starting a loop start from the front, is once you get it to go to the back, undoing it can be a bit of a struggle, but we'll see. There. Okay, yeah, to unpick it, you have to kind of pull everything to the back and unpick it from there, but we managed. Okay, yeah, I noticed that there were threads parked in the wrong place in comparison to this one. And then I looked at my grid lines and realized, yep, I was in the wrong square. Oh my gosh. I tell you, this piece of thread is cursed or something. Oh dear, I must have pierced it with my needle. Oh my gosh. Oh geez. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I say it was cursed. It was like I had a yarn I bought and I tried to make a sweater with it and it didn't turn out well. So I unraveled it and I used the yarn to make another sweater and that one didn't look good. And I tried to make a third one with it and it still looked like garbage. I said, okay, fine, this yarn is cursed, and I made it into a blanket instead. Because yeah, blankets are more forgiving. They don't have to fit properly, right? They're the size they are and it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, so I never bought that brand again because I was not happy with it. I think using it for a sweater didn't work because it didn't have a nice drape to it. So it kind of almost stood on its own kind of stiffly. I think it would have been a good yarn to use to make like stuffed animals or something because it would hold the shape pretty well. But yeah, for something that you want to not look like you're wearing, you know, something that can stand on its own. Yeah, it wasn't so good. Oh, whoops. Right. It's not in markup mode. Double tapping will highlight or unhighlight rather than parking. Okay. Oh, it's color that is not blue. Yeah, so I say confetti here, but there is still, you can see some bigger blocks of different colors around here, like on the neck and stuff. It's just a couple of colors, so yeah. We'll see. I expect this one to go, probably take me about as much time as the Soulful Mediterranean Tranquility did, even though this one is like 70,000 more stitches, but there is so many bigger blocks instead of almost all confetti. So, but we'll see. When I worked on that one, the Soulful Mediterranean, I was working basically just on that. And now I have also Firefly that I do for about 25% of my stitching time. So yeah. But yeah, I kind of don't want to tackle Firefly all at once because it's over 500,000 stitches, and that would just, I think, make me feel burned out. Yeah, because I do like to finish stuff. Just part of why I took a bit of a break and did the Majora's Mask last time, which was 48,000, because yeah, it gave me a nice quick finish. Yeah, so now that the recipient has received it, I can tell you all about the secret project I talked about. Was I made a Legend of Zelda wedding banner, which was had Zelda and Link, and it says it's dangerous to go alone. Take this with a heart in between them. Yeah, and then I added their names and the wedding date underneath it. So yeah, they just messaged me yesterday when they got back from their honeymoon that they absolutely loved it and that they're going to hang it up next to their uh, um, replica master sword that they had made and stuff. So I'm like, wow, I'm honored. Yeah, it's in a pride of place spot. So yeah, but yeah, I said as soon as I saw that on Etsy, it just had to make it for you. I mean, how could I not when you're having an actual Legend of Zelda themed wedding? Yeah. Yeah, so my sister-in-law's fiance had a replica master sword made by an actual blacksmith. So yeah, I've only seen pictures of it, not in person yet, but it looked amazing. Guy did such good work. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, just kind of back and forth between these two colors here. Let's see if we can get these, pardon me, get these 4 here. I think so, and then we'll have to start a new thread. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, I'll put a link if I remember to that that wedding announcement pattern that I that I mentioned. It was I think it was Choco Stitch or something on Etsy. I can't remember, but it actually had 2 little versions of it. One where Link and Zelda are both facing sort of towards the viewer, and then one where Link is kind of looking over at Princess Zelda with his hand on the heart, and then but they both say, you know, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. So yeah. And then yeah, like I said, it didn't come with an alphabet or anything for you to personalize it, so I just went online into, oh, what was it? It was a free little online one. I think it was called like Pixel Stitch or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, so I could just sort of design it myself until I got it to look right. It's interesting too because of the name of the way the shape of the letters was. I actually had to put an extra space between the plus sign and the second name or it looked funny. Yeah. Yeah, so there's that one. And then for another relative who also loves Legend of Zelda, there was a little one I made that just said linked together. And then it was, yeah, Link and Princess Zelda, and then the date underneath them. So yeah, it was funny. I posted a picture of it on my Facebook, and I had a friend who was like, okay, I kind of almost want to get married just so that I can have you make me one of these, because yeah, it's so cute. And it was a nice quick little stitch. Like the actual stitching time took about 2 days because yeah, it wasn't full coverage. It was just a small one with like 1,000 stitches. So yeah, I was able to blast through that pretty quickly. Although I did enlarge it. That was one of the ones where I stitched 4 stitches for each 1 stitch on the pattern to make it bigger, because otherwise the original was like really small. It was like, you know, 3.5 by 5 inches, and I wanted it to be a little bit bigger on the wall. I guess they made it that way so you could use it to make like a little card or something, or like, yeah, just a little small one to frame. But yeah, I wanted something a little bit bigger to show up on the wall, so I enlarged it that way. And I did do videos of those as well. So yeah, it was kind of like when you stitch over 2 threads to make something twice as big in each direction, except I stitched each one individually, each little square. So took a little more time, but yeah, I was really happy with the results. And yeah, I said it looks very pixelated, but that's good because it was the original 8-bit graphic style, so yeah. Okay, so probably gonna set this aside for now, and I'm gonna come back into this corner here where the more heavy detail work is. I may unthread those needles, we'll see. If I run low and I need them back, then I will. Okay, let me just take a look here. Yeah, that would close in this stitch, so I'm gonna do that first. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have another thread here because got one parked a little lower down. I'm gonna have another one up here that's gonna, I think, jump around a little bit. But that's okay. Oh yeah, so we're at 13,924, so we should hit 14,000 total by the end of this session, I should say. Even if there is quite a bit of confetti. My gosh. Okay, I'm gonna flip the needle over. Yeah, if you're having trouble pushing the thread through the eye of the needle, sometimes flipping it and going to the other side of the eye will help, because they have to punch the hole through the eye of the needle, and so yeah, even though it's, you know, polished so that it's supposed to be smooth and not snag your thread, it can make it harder to thread it from one side of the needle versus or one side of the eye versus the other side. Oh no, that's done. That is parked. There we go. Okay. Did that so I could do all 4 of these in a row. So I like to do, as usual, my bottom legs, then come back and cross my top legs. Also do this one in the corner. Okay, 794. I think my neck's a little sore today, though, from those sinks where they wash your hair at the salon. They're never at quite the right height. Well, they're made for people of average height, and I'm short, so yeah. Yeah, I said it kind of sucks if you're not the in that range, because then like the lumbar support on chairs is too high, so you have to sit on a cushion or yeah. Although my mom's even shorter than me, so I remember she used to have two big pillows, one to sit on and one behind her for the car. Otherwise, she had trouble seeing over the dashboard. So, yeah, I'm short, but I'm not quite that short. Although, yeah, I saw some pictures of they had tall people problems. And after looking at that, I thought, yeah, as much as I complain about being short, being tall looks like it's more difficult. You gotta pay extra for, pants that cover all of your legs and yeah, seats. There was one of my friends said her husband has to try on cars like you try on shoes to make sure his legs will fit because yeah, he's too tall. Ugh. Here, they said the blanket's too short because it's made for the average size and not when you're, yeah, super tall. Yeah, there was a guy my husband used to work with who was 6'7", so yeah. Yeah, I said at least when you're short like me, you can buy regular pants and then hem them. You don't have to pay extra for the extra tall ones. Although I really liked Jean Warehouse makes ones with short legs, but even those are like right to the floor almost on me. But yeah. But yeah, I don't buy the standard size ones anymore. I buy the short legs. Because yeah, if I buy the standard ones, then I have to get them hemmed and take like 6 inches off the bottom. That's looking a little funny right there. There, yeah. So the fabric was, or the thread was just kind of a weird little lump there for some reason, even though there's no knot. On the back, I checked. Okay, so this one, yeah, I can see it. I'm going to branch it off in a couple of different directions. Otherwise, it would be a lot of skipping around with the one strand, so. Okay. Yeah, this one's almost a fluorescent kind of color. Yeah, I remember I used it on my last project on Zora Link because he's like an electric blue. Yeah, because that was his special ability, is the electricity field he can make when he's in the water swimming. Not going to pin stitch this one because it's a very bright color and I don't want it to show through, because I can see down here we're going to get back into these pale beiges and pale blues, so yeah. Don't want that to show. Now, turquoisey green color. Yeah, I think I counted up this little portion of his head feathers here was like 30 colors. So yeah, that was a lot of color changes to get through. Quite a bit of a slog, but I definitely like how it looks, so it was all worth it. Okay, I'm going to look at this one here. I'm not going to do it yet because it would close something in, but yeah, that is a little, it's a long one, not a short one. So, okay, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to use it. I may have to do something out of order. Sometimes that's just unavoidable. Because yeah, you'll have one thread traveling up and one thread traveling down, and so sort of the way they cross past each other. Oh, what am I doing? Whoops. Unparked it instead of putting the bottom leg of the stitch. That is not what I wanted to do. Nor tie a knot in my thread. Okay. Okay, we'll see if I have to reset or if I can manage to pull these out without tangling. Oh yeah, this one will have to be unthreaded because I pierced another thread with it by accident, so. Select that one, the percent sign, not the crosshairs sign, or symbol, I should say. actually start a second thread. That's right, I remember I decided that ahead of time. So I think I won't have to do anything out of order. Yeah, that will work. Okay, so yeah, that way I can do this one and this one, and actually these two before I park it, and I didn't have to close anything in. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Meant to actually select a different color. Right, okay. So this was one I decided to jump around with a bit, but not a lot. So yeah. Instead of a second thread, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to jump up here and do those two, and then park it again below. That should work. Yeah, sometimes having more than one thread helps save thread so that I'm not crossing a lot back and forth across the back. But sometimes when it's really close together, it would actually be more thread to do another one there, because you have to account for the stopping and starting of thread. Well, I use loop starts, so starting a new thread doesn't really take up much. It does more if you're using, say, an away thread or like a waist knot. But yeah, the ending off, you know, does take up some. So there's that to consider too. And also, some people prefer to have fewer threads attached so it's less, you know, busy, which I understand that too. Okay, now to do that whole bit. I want to do these ones to the left of them first. And I think again with this color, pardon me, I can kind of do this section with one thread for now instead of having to divide it. So yes, perfect. Okay. Oh, actually, silly me, yeah. Don't want to do that one as well because I'll close in that stitch. So I will park it there rather. Yeah, I find with these long runs that are diagonal with a single stitch wide, it helps to cross as you go. I find for those ones, it does make it look a little neater rather than doing the bottom legs and then crossing the top legs just because of the direction of the stitches. But yeah. So I've had a lot of, pardon me, in this area here, there was a lot of sort of single diagonal rows of color. And so instead of going down and coming back up like I often do, I instead crossed as I went. And sometimes I carried one, sort of crossed as I went all the way to the bottom, moved over, then crossed as I went, bringing it back up to the top. And I found that that kind of, yeah, seemed to be a little neater. Yeah, when it's like rows and rows of back and forth, I find the not crossing as you go is fine. But yeah, when it's diagonal sort of runs of single stitches, that does seem to make a bit of a difference. Although I'm sure once you back up and look at the whole picture, you're not going to notice it. That's just me being finicky. Okay. Okay, so I did all that just so that I could do this whole little diagonal run here at once. Let's get you free. Yep, got it. Oh, that needle stayed on, but just barely, by like a millimeter. Okay, I actually may just work down here more for a bit. Yeah. And I'll come back and do these other ones. So what I might do actually is unthread these needles. So I didn't completely fill in that bit of diagonal, but yeah, I kind of didn't want to have too many needles live. So yeah, I'm kind of just going to switch to a different area and continue on. And then, so like I said, I don't always go in strict diagonals. My biggest thing is trying to avoid close-in stitches. So sometimes I end up with kind of weird shapes that are not very diagonal, but yeah, it works for me. Because yeah, I don't like to continuously unthread and rethread, so I have to try to stick to sort of one section at a time to keep from having to do that. Okay, 6, 4, 8. Sounds like a plane's flying really low. Yeah, we do have a local airport, although it's not very big. Or occasionally you'll see the airlift helicopter go by. Yeah. Because, yeah, I had one time, it's like, man, that's really loud. How low is that plane flying? But actually, it was a chopper. Yeah. Yeah, so this way it's able to sort of jump around with the one thread and keep from having to add another while still not closing any stitches in. Okay, so this one, yeah, I'm going to set aside. It's pretty much out of the diagonal there. And then I'm going to carry on downwards. Oh, we are so close to 14,000 total completed. Oh, look at that. My percentage completed is 4.56. Okay. Yes, so his head feathers are pretty much done. The next diagonal down across will get to the top of his head. And then the next one will be, again, more of his head, and we'll start getting his neck, too. Yeah, not sure if I'll reach that by the end of the month or not. We'll see. Oh, there we go. 14,000. Past it now. Sweet. So we had a bunch of confetti there, but now we're getting into an area where there's a lot fewer colors, so it'll go a lot faster. But yeah, this upper left corner was a bit of a slog. Glad that background's pretty much done because there's detail in pretty much everything after this part. So I think I'll do these 3 in that same run. Then I'll park it over to the right here and then carry on with this next thread. Yeah, in areas with bigger blocks, you can end up with more than one thread parked in that run of color. That's okay because you'll use them all up anyway. Yeah, I find on 14 count, I get about 40 stitches per strand. If they're all in one area, obviously. If they're spread out further, then you don't get as many. Yeah, and then when I'm working on 18 count, I get closer to 50 stitches from each strand. Again, if they're close together and not spread out. So now to pick up this other thread of the same color. I don't really have anything threaded down here, so very easy to pull the threads up. Okay. Try not to split the fabric threads that are already, or not the fabric threads, the floss there that's already in that spot. I have to try and get them to lie side by side. Okay, let's see. A little further down. Okay, I'm just going to check the lengths of the different threads here. That's a long one. That's a medium. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do here. Park this one down here because it's probably only enough to do 2 stitches. I'm going to add a new thread here and kind of do this whole run here. Okay, 7, 7, 5. Pardon me. Make sure 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Because, yeah, these different areas can look really similar here, so I got to make sure I'm in the correct square before I start stitching away. Don't want to later find out it was in the wrong spot. I have done that before. Yeah, it was a bit of a pain to fix that, so. So I did all of that so that I could do all those at once. Although, I mean, I guess I still have to stop and park anyway, either way. Yeah, doing all those ones means I could do these 4 in park rather than having to do 3 park, then 1 in park. So kind of saves me from one extra pause there. Oh, right, I can't do that all at once. Well, I could, but it would close stuff in, and I don't like to do that, so. Yeah, there's no rules that say I can't. It's just not my preferred way. Oh, actually, instead of splitting that up, I can do more rows and not close anything in above them, so I'll do that. Yeah, so sometimes I break up the big blocks of color and sometimes I don't. Just sort of depends on my mood and how it affects the other colors stitched around them too. I don't, got a little knot. That's annoying, but it's so small. I'm not going to bother cutting it out. I carry over. this side a couple squares just to ensure that knot stays on the back. Yeah, if it was bigger knot, I would have cut it out and restarted, but oh, actually I can also do this one here as it's in the corner. But yeah, it was so tiny that I decided I'm just gonna leave it. So even though we're pretty much right to the edge of this diagonal here, I may continue on downwards a bit as long as I'm not closing anything in. Like I say, the diagonals are more of a guideline. Okay, so I've got a few this color kind of parked here, but that one, oh, that is actually pretty long. I thought it was going to be short, but no, this is kind of a medium length. Oh, well, that's fine. Sometimes I end up with more threads than I need. That's just how it happens, so I'll end one off. If it gets to that point. For now, I'll just juggle the different threads until either one runs out or I decide I have too much, and then I'll decide what to do then. Okay. Add another thread of ecru because, yeah, there's a lot of this color in this area here, so even with adding extra threads, we're going to use them all up, so. Yeah, so like I said, there are 3 threads of this in this area, but this one is short, so I'm going to end it off anyway. Be done with it. So if I could pierce the fabric in the right spot, that is. Okay. Just gonna stick with the one that's already threaded for now. I think sort of this is where my diagonal is going to sort of naturally end, and then I'll head back up to the top and carry on from there. Sort of once I'm no longer able to carry on spreading out without closing in the stitches above them, that's when it's time to go back to the top and start again. Okay, and you know what? I think I'm gonna actually just call it a day here. Yeah, we did almost 200 stitches in this session, so yeah, quite happy with that. So actually I'm just gonna mark that how I did it so I don't mix myself up, and I'm gonna leave it there. So as usual, thanks so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.